That's lovely. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for having me this afternoon. My name's Mandy Andrew, and I am joining you from a rather wet Scotland. I do wish I was with you in São Paulo, because it's a place very close to my heart. So I'm bringing you a presentation today, sharing some of the experiences that I've had and presenting on behalf of myself, my colleague, Dr. Victoria Stein, and my colleague and friend, Dr. Larissa as well. So this is actually a joint presentation from us. If you can bear with me, I will just share my screen. That's us. So one of the things that I'd like to talk to you today is around integrated care. Integrated care is not new. It's been around and it's had many different terms and names. It is complex and it can be difficult, and it is an ongoing process. So it's something that you start your journey with. You have to look at here is bridging the gap between long-term care systems. If we look at the way our systems have been set up in the past, we have had the social care system and we have had the health system. What we want to start looking at is how we start to link these together and coordinate them, but also doing this in a person-centred way with the user, the family and the carer at the centre as well. If we were thinking about why we needed to change our systems as well, if we look at the social determinants of health, we have over here that the clinical care area looks at 10%. And again, from the public health perspective, if we look at around 30% is around the health behaviour changes, and also social and economic factors as well. And so we need to be able to look at this in the whole and not in the part. One of the important things to start off with when you're considering and looking and exploring integrated care is to map out all the care that a person has and receives. This can be from the health perspective, it can be from the social care perspective, it could be from NGOs, etc., or from recreation and from the community as well. If we start to map out all that a patient or a person has, care that they receive, this can actually be very complex, but it also helps you explore and identify all the assets that you have in your community. And identifying those assets are very important. One of the reasons for this is my journey living with a chronic condition. This came from a piece of work that a colleague and I did a long time ago, and this was written by one of the participants who said the green line was their life and the red line was the episodes of care that they received from the health service. And so from the perspective that the patient is living and actually learning to self-manage their condition throughout their whole lifespan. So we need to think how all our assets can be brought into and mobilised to be able to support the person. So if we're looking at the building blocks for integrated care, what's this going to take? When we looked at the building blocks in work that we did, let me just see if that, this was, these are the different building, okay. So what we have here are the building blocks for integrated care. The building blocks are all the elements that you need to consider and that you need to be able to bring in all together to be able to support integrated care. So as mentioned before, we have people-centred, we have the cultures and values, we have the governance and accountability, Community involvement and involving the community and listening to the community are very important. But likewise, the competencies, the workforce competencies are important as well. The care transitions and processes, and from the background that Larissa has given me around all the facilities that you have within your own municipality and that you're building a new hospital, the idea of the care transitions of care from hospital into primary care are important as well. Information flows and data are needed as well, because we need to be able to evaluate what it is that we're doing and evaluate to see if there's any changes that need to be made. So take all of these elements into consideration. So, as mentioned before, integrated care is something that has been around for a long time, and it needs to be able to turn around and look at how you think of integrating your data. One of the things I have to say is that when any system starts off looking at the data that they have, we normally find that the data sources are not linked. So sometimes it might be coming together to actually be able to compare your data, but also through that, be able to do some predictive modelling around who are the people that are going to require the most care. So one of the things that we've said here is that Peter Drucker says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. But another quote from him also says, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So one of the things in relation to creating your, going forward, your journey on integrated care is to look at the bottom up. That's building everything from the community, from the care that is actually delivered as well, but it's also from the top down as well. That point of view of the strategy, the policy, the financing, everything that comes together. But one of the things that you do need to come together and agree on, and this is all stakeholders, is agree on what is your vision for integrated care within your, within your municipality. And one of the things, I like this little cartoon because this is actually saying none of us get it perfect at the beginning. So it's one thing to say is take the step and start thinking about the actions that you want to take for integrated care today. So what are the key messages? This is a very quick whistle-stop tour around these building blocks. So in summary message one, a key question is around trusted relationships. And so that's bringing in the organisational culture, the team building, the leadership and the senior management. And here it shows the 6 elements that are required for successful partnerships. And that's something the presentation will be shared with you. So please do give consideration to do you have all these elements in it. Also as well is the rainbow model and the levels of integration. So this is very similar, and you may have seen this before. So we start at the top with the system integration, where the systems are coming together, where the policies are. Then we move into organisations. How are you going to, from organisationally, how are you going to work together? And then how's that going to come together as functional? That's the practical integration, bringing together all the different professionals that are required. And then that also comes together around the service integration. And remember, all of this needs to be population-based, person-focused, to be able to bring this together at all levels of your organisation. And that's something that is very important. The other element, and I'm sure you will have heard of this on quite a number of times as well, is think about the point from the quadruple aim of a health system. That point that you're improving the population health, but you're also improving the work-life balance of the healthcare providers. And then on the other side, we've got enhancing the patient experience. Now, in this slide, it says patient experience. I would also expand that to patient, carer, and family experience, because this is where it all comes together in reducing health expenditure as well. And one of the areas around integrated care is the continuous improvement and learning process. This is not a journey that you start and you then finish it. There will always be something changing and something that needs to be changed. And it goes back to the little cartoon with the steps, that you need to be able to test things out. And the other thing as well is not everything will be a success, and that's fine. Celebrate the things that don't work well, because they have just as much rich learning. And as Larissa will share with you through our work that we did with Transforming Together, we were continuously changing and adapting, and that's something that's very important. So this brings in, it's the time for the organisational transformation, but also with that, and just as important, is the relationship building that you all will be going through as well. And that relates back into the element around trust. This is one of my favourite slides. The two words information and communication can very often be used interchangeably, but they're quite different things. If we think about information, I'm giving out information to you. Communication is also in working, is getting it through. So again, we can start off sometimes not agreeing, or we can feel left out and not included. But when we're working in an integrated care way, we want to be able to all come together. Now, it's not always going to be perfect, but please take the time to understand each other's viewpoints. It is something that's fundamental to how you work out how you want to go forward. So ultimately, it's one person supported by people acting as one team, from organisations behaving as one system. And when you think about it, we have worked collaboratively this afternoon, and our presentation and our session did not start perfectly. We have stopped, we have adapted, we started, and that's absolutely fine. That's what integrated care is all about. What I have put at the end here is a whole series of references that you can explore at your leisure. And also as well, I've just left in some work around small group discussions, but that's something that you can take forward yourself. Lastly, I've included the exercise on the social determinants of health that you can share with your staff, asking them to fill out the blocks or parts of the pie so that they can actually, they themselves can work out what aspect they feel their answers are, and then you can also give them the correct one as well. So that's enough from me, and I hope that's just given you a very brief overview of the building blocks to integrated care, and I so look forward to hearing your journey as well. And thank you so much to Larissa for inviting me this afternoon. Over to you.
Obrigada, Mandy. Vocês me ouvem, Lia? Ótimo. E agora? Ainda me ouvem? Gente, como o Mandy disse, posso continuar? Como a Mandy disse, infelizmente não foi perfeito do jeito que nós planejamos, estamos aprendendo aqui a usar essa conectividade, numa próxima oportunidade será melhor, com certeza. Mas eu gostaria muitíssimo de agradecer a presença da Mandy aqui. A gravação com a tradução tá feita, então a gente também vai tirar as dúvidas agora durante o processo de conversa. Dizer que esse é uma construção coletiva e que os cuidados integrados, eles partem do pressuposto de estar aberto para a mudança e criar condições para isso. Vocês, em Santana do Parnaíba, estão fazendo isso com o nosso apoio. Então, agradeço muitíssimo. Vou passar a palavra para a Lia. E, Mandy, obrigada mais uma vez. Como a gente vai dar continuidade à sessão, as dúvidas, questões, eu passo para a Mandy e depois a gente responde. Combinado, Mandy? A gente depois faz essa troca.